The last two HTTP-based APIs we're going to talk about is GraphQL and gRPC. Both of these introduce an extra layer of abstraction. gRPC introduces that extra layer of abstraction by creating protocol buffers or proto buffers as they're known. This proto buffer defines the messages, which are the data types that are the inputs and the outputs that could be used for inputs and outputs of the operations which are defined under services. So that's what gRPC is. GraphQL, on the other hand, provides you with the ability to create a schema which defines data types, queries, mutations, subscriptions, and also and so on. A query is exactly what it says, just retrieves data. Mutation creates data, and a subscription gives you the ability to stream data. And a query language. The query language makes use of all the definitions of the schema in order to be able to retrieve to perform some kind of an operation. The beauty of GraphQL is that both the schema and the query language are fairly standardized. Right? So the schema, yeah, you can define all kind of different data types. The queries, yes, you can define different queries based upon the data types you have created. The query language is pretty much the same. The only thing you need to use is the different queries and data types you created under the schema. Okay. So that's exactly what GraphQL is. How they behave is pretty much exactly the same way like the rest. So you need tools. You start with the protocol buffer or the schema. You need tools in order to create the stubs of the server implementation, and you need to do the same exact thing in order to create stubs for the client implementation. Okay, both of these use the same type of functionality, right? You need frameworks, pretty much. GraphQL, as I mentioned earlier on, or let's start with gRPC. gRPC, as I mentioned earlier on, is exactly that, RPC style. So you will see very many similarities with the RPC style APIs we talked about earlier on. GraphQL, on the other hand, is a different animal altogether. GraphQL gives you the ability to do a lot more things from a user's perspective and make it easier, make it look easier as comparing any other API type we talked about. That's why I find that this is the next biggest thing, right? And a lot of there's tons of movement moving towards GraphQL as compared to gRPC, right? Okay, so that's GraphQL and gRPC. Let's go to the hands-on portion. What we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of an explanation of gRPC and GraphQL. gRPC, we're going to go under the website, the specification, so that I can show you what gRPC is very quickly. And then we're going to look at a production grade gRPC API, and we're going to talk about why gRPC, I think, is moving away from. I don't want to say it's moving away from gRPC, right? Google, it's a Google creation, right? gRPC. I'm not. I don't think it's moving away, but it's abstracting it away. You'll see what I mean. And then we're going to talk. We're going to close the exercise by talking about GraphQL, right? And also PayPal. If you remember, PayPal has a GraphQL API as well, right? And I see a lot of companies, like enterprise grade companies, that are actually moving towards GraphQL because it makes things a little simpler. Okay, and we just completed this section. In the next section, we're going to do the actual exercise. So talk to you soon.